Okay, Hunter, whenever you're ready.
Matt's face.
Does that always happen?
Dude, I don't know. It just started doing that like 3
As of
weeks
lately.
ago. I have no idea.
Okay, I was like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
I don't
I'd
know
like
if it's
to
an
honestly
update.
disable that so it never happens again to me.
Well, the first time it happened, we were recording an interview and we looked at each other and we looked at the person and we're like, did you hear that too? Yeah, weird. Okay, everybody ready?
Sure.
3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to Climb the Ladder for our 36th episode presented by Washed Up Network. I'm your co-host Hunter, and my equally good-looking twin brother Duncan is sitting right here with me. We also have a few special guests with us today. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in each week, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes and Spotify. As always, let's climb the ladder.
All right. I think time to welcome on our special guest right from the beginning. We've got all three of the co-hosts from the Way Out Here podcast, fellow Washed Up Network show. We've had Clayton on here once or twice before, but we are also joined by Taylor and Matt from the Way Out Here podcast. So before we get going, how you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Feel great. I don't know where this podcast is going to go because this is the first time us three has been guests on a pod. So strap in.
I feel like royalty. It's gonna be good. I'm excited.
I know. I feel like I see your guys' videos on Instagram all the time. For anybody out there who hasn't heard of Way Out Here, they release more episodes than anybody. I think they're like a Tuesday, Thursday, but then they'll throw in like the occasional like, oh, we just happen to record an extra. Like, let's just keep it going. But I feel like I'm honored to even be like looking at the screen with you guys plus Hunter and I. It's just like, yeah, I don't know where it's going to go for the next hour, but we'll see.
Also, I was just going to add a little description of the podcast, but I wouldn't really say there is one for you guys. It's just way out here. And so I think any of our
The
listeners
description would change every week.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody would be like, oh, so, what's way out here about? And I don't think you could tell them anything.
I usually give people just a blank stare and that gets them. It's like, just listen to the last episode. They're like, okay, yeah, sure. Also, it improves downloads if you don't tell them what it's about.
There you go.
Very true. Yeah, keeps them guessing.
Well, we're excited to have you guys on today. I think the biggest news that we're excited to talk about, first and foremost, as far as Climb the Ladder is concerned, is that pitchers and catchers reported today. So we are stoked on that. We're excited to talk a little bit of baseball with you guys. Also introduce you guys to a couple of our segments and have you jump in because we know that your segments are way out there. So we're excited to get a little bit of outsider take on a couple of those as well. But yeah, we're just stoked to have you guys here for a little bit and talking some baseball and talking some life. So before I get into anything, this episode brought to you by none other than Kiko's Coffee and Tea. They're our favorite coffee. You can get 16% off, not 15, 16% with code CTLW at kikoscoffeeandtea.com. So head over there. My personal favorite, the medium dark roast. I think we also like that cold brew and now offering a wide variety of teas. So go over and check it out a little bit. But I think without further ado, we get into a little bit of baseball talk. Hunter, what do you say?
Yeah, well, we're stoked as of today. The pitchers and catchers reported, and we are as close to getting back to normal as we've seen in about a year. So spring training is starting. It's right around the corner, and we're excited to have some action in Arizona and Florida. Neither Duncan nor I have ever been to spring training games, but now that we have a few guests accompanying us today, we wanted to see if you guys have ever been to any spring training in Arizona or Florida.
Yeah, I've actually been to Mariners spring training one year. It was in like 7th grade. I have a funny story about it though. So it was actually in 8th grade. So I was like not a very good kid in 7th grade. So the way to like straighten me up, my grandparents were like, okay, if you don't if you are like not going to the principal's office like once a day and you are actually like passing classes here, we'll take you to spring training next year. Do you think you can handle that? And I was like, I guess I could do that. And I was like the best kid for like a whole year. And when I went to spring training, after spring training, it went right back to normal. I was like, hell yeah, got exactly what we needed. But spring training was awesome. I got to Ichiro was there. This was in like 2008, I believe. So this was like at the height of Ichiro being pretty famous. And so Ichiro always was the guy that was out there the longest. I got some Felix autographs, Ichiro autographs. So spring training was a good experience. It was just it's one of those experiences that you get closer to the players than you'll ever do at like an actual stadium, because all of them are chilling. Like they've been at spring training for like a month. They're tired of being there. They just want to hang out with other people. They're kind of in their own bubble in their own right. So yeah, I love spring training.
Yeah, I want to say I have, but I really don't think I have. So I'm gonna go with the fact that I haven't gone.
That's like
I'm pretty
saying
sure.
that you want to travel the world, but you really can't say that you have.
Well, COVID, so you know.
Matt's like thought about going to spring training, but he hasn't actually like bought the plane ticket. Like he thought it would be cool, and like a couple buddies invited him, but he's not so sure about
Mentally,
it yet.
Matt's been there.
Mentally, I've been to every single one. Physically, I have not.
Hey, props for that. I mean, that's more than some people get. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's fair.
Facts.
That's more. I've never gone. I've never gone to.
There's like, what's baseball?
I have honestly, like, I never really watched a lot of baseball growing up. I went to my first Mariners game with Clayton, and
yeah, it was like
Matt.
last year.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
Seeing
fun.
that. What is that? Safeco Field? Is that what it is?
It's
T-Mobile
always going to be
now, but
Safeco.
yeah.
It's T-Mobile
Yeah.
technically, but it's always Safeco.
Yeah, we're not gonna ever call it T-Mobile Park.
Yeah, we refuse to call it by its new name.
All right. Well, anyways, Safeco Field is that was the first time I ever seen an actual like MLB game. So that was really cool. But no, I've never gone to like spring training or seen any of that stuff. Just Sports Center and ESPN clips and whatnot. So it'd be
Well,
super
Taylor,
cool to see it.
I can say that however you're probably same age as Clayton, like 25, 26. In those years, you haven't really missed anything of being a Mariners fan. So it's actually not too late if you want to start now.
I've
It's a fair
honestly
statement.
honestly heard the same stuff year after year. So I feel like I've been a part of it by not missing anything. But I'll still rep Washington. That's my home.
Let's just put this way. If you were in a coma for 20 years and woke up today, we'd have the same amount of playoff wins. So
Oh my God.
That's crazy to think
not
about.
great.
Also, Taylor said that he's probably only seen Safeco Field on like ESPN or Sports Center, and the only way that the Mariners have ever been on ESPN is the not top 10.
We're usually the opposing team of a really cool play.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, what was it like, Clayton? You'll remember exactly when it was. The Mariners had, I think it was 3 no-hitters against them in like the month of August a couple seasons ago, and I was like, we're in the not top 10 again, or we're in the top 10 again for on the wrong side of things.
Yeah, it was like we kept hitting like the aces of everybody's teams, and we were hitting the worst out of any team in the league. And so I was like, of course, here we go. No hitter number 1 happens. A month later, no hitter number 2 happens. Literally 3 days later, we get no hit for the 3rd time. I'm like, we're never going to get any hits. Here we are.
I have to say though, Safeco Field is one of the most aesthetically pleasing ballparks to see on TV. So I think
100%.
that might also be part of the reason.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
think-
Actually, when we took Taylor to his first Mariners game, we sat in center field so we could see, like, we could overlook everything. It was actually super dope.
Yeah, also
And then
on
we did the old Mariners rotation where, because everybody leaves after like the 3rd inning because the Mariners are down like 10-0, we got to sit on the third base
yeah,
side,
that's
like
right.
That's
right next to the field.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That was cool.
You
That was
got to go
awesome.
to the third base seats because for some reason those people piece earliest, and you can always get like 3rd row right up the line, right in foul ball territory. It's gold.
Well, they're closest to the parking lot, so it makes sense.
Okay, I get it now. That makes sense.
I saw another thing. I think it was yesterday. I was scrolling on Twitter, and of course, the MLB tweeted something, and I saw the Mariners logo, and I was like, whoa, that never happens. And I think like within our first 10 episodes or something, we talked about how the MLB just uses the Mariners as like poster child for like Felix Hernandez, Ichiro, and Ken Griffey Jr. Like that's the only namesakes that we get. And of course, it was a graphic of Griffey having some record that nobody else had. And I was like, that's the only reason that the Mariners get spotlight. Like, I'll take it, but also I'm like, come on.
That and the graphic that they post every year before the beginning of the year that says, hey, you have this percentage of chance to make the playoffs.
Oh,
By the way, we have a 0.4% chance to make the playoffs.
did you
So
see
you're
it got
saying there's a
up?
chance.
It got up 1.7 as of this morning.
Let's go.
Oh,
Let's go.
So close.
James Paxton makes a 1.3% difference. Let's go.
Dude,
I have
honestly.
I have to say that I am excited to go to games a lot more this summer now that I'm back in the Seattle area. But you know, obviously of all places, Seattle and Washington State's gonna be one of the last to figure out like fans and attendance and everything.
oh yeah.
But Duncan and I were talking about it, and normal fan attendance on, well, I was going to say like a random Tuesday night, but even on a Saturday or Sunday is less than 25% anyway. So we should be able to go full capacity to every game at Safeco Field.
The Mariners just have a built-in little COVID excuse. They're always at
For the
25%
last 20 years.
capacity.
Yep.
They've been,
They've been preparing for
prepared
this the last 20 years.
for the last 20 years.
The ownership has a pandemic plan every year since 2001. It's been awesome.
Dude, they're like the Simpsons. They just saw it coming and they just predicted like what they were gonna do in case a pandemic started.
Can't hate it.
One thing I have that I want to get your guys' take on. Breaking news as of like probably 30-40 minutes ago, Tim Tebow officially retired from baseball. So that's a splash in the baseball world.
Damn. That's a
I
big
did
hit.
just see that the Mets just offered him another invite to spring training, and I thought that originally happened like 10 years ago. Like he was like Heisman in 2010, played for the Broncos, and then all of a sudden he was playing like AA forever. And then I thought that like fizzled out, and so the fact that they just brought him back and then he retired, that's like when players sign a 1-day contract or 1 hour contract to retire with their team that they played for forever.
Yeah, so will people remember Tim Tebow as a Met or will they remember him as a Denver Bronco?
Yeah, right.
Oh, he
Bronco.
also played for another New York team. He was a Jet for like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was like practice squad and then he got cut.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they'll probably only remember him forever as a Florida Gator because I think that was his peak.
That's true. On that crazy team with Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
that stat I sent you guys?
Yeah.
Oh
was
god,
like
I gotta
over-
see if I can find it, dude. Was
It
it
was
on Instagram?
Yeah, I think so. It was
Yeah,
like-
yeah. About how many people
Oh.
on that team were arrested.
Dude, oh my god, I gotta see if I can find this really quick.
I think he's been relevant mainly since probably for the last 10 years. One, because of the Aaron Hernandez documentary, but also because he's on the Heisman commercials when they're at the Heisman house. And I think
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
about
true.
it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, the only time I've seen him was during his Broncos thing, and I didn't even know he played for the Florida Gators. I haven't really followed a lot of sports growing up, but I saw that he was on that same team with Aaron Hernandez, and Matt had sent this picture, and it was like 48% of that team all had felonies or something like that. Like almost half that
So,
team.
so I found it. So the 2008 Florida Gators won the BCS National Championship. Of the 121 players on that roster, 41 of them have been arrested.
Whoa.
Dude, I bet that team
nuts.
partied like nobody.
Brutal.
Oh, that would be so crazy.
What the
Brutal.
heck?
41.
41 of
So many.
121.
And remember that team had Cam Newton too, and he was one of the 41 that got arrested because he was stealing laptops from other college students, and then he went on to win a national championship with Auburn a couple years later.
I mean, it's either laptops or crab legs. You know, which one would you rather have?
yeah. Shout out Jameis Winston.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, you guys do Florida, man, sometimes, and all that happens in Florida, you never know what you're gonna get out of that state.
Florida's a
no
never.
idea.
It's never ending. I love that place. I would. They should honestly make a reality TV show just based in Florida and just film everybody there. Everything
know
that's
how
down there.
All they would
Sometimes,
have to
like,
use is
the-
surveillance cameras.
Yeah.
Sometimes the
Yeah,
West
it's
Coast
like
wants
it's
to
like
break
grayed
out.
looking down.
That would be fun.
Yeah, they don't even have to have TV crews following people. It's literally just surveillance cameras. They're like, look at this idiot.
Yeah, and then they probably have the dash cameras like everybody does in Russia, and so they can just capture everything.
Dude, they should honestly just break off into their own country because they already do what they want anyways. Like, it was like March and COVID's like, we have cases in every state, and they're like, let's go to the beach. And I'm like,
Well,
I
they're
don't
just
think
an
you can do
extension
that.
of Cuba.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my coworkers that lives in Florida, and they were like, we honestly haven't had restrictions since like May of last year. Like,
That's insane.
I haven't even, when
That's
people say
crazy.
they still can't go to restaurants, like, it's a foreign language to me because I've been at restaurants for the past 8 months. Like, I just don't know what you're talking about.
So Florida trip?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Let's-
down.
down for that. Well, I think Disney World closed for like 2 days, and then they've just been full blown, just fully open. Like, I think I saw, all the Super Bowl players, they go, the next day, and then it happened to be in Florida anyway. But did you see the boat parade? How many
was
people
so
were
sick.
there?
Oh,
It was
awesome.
packed.
That was so cool.
That was
Oh my gosh.
wild.
Boat parades are awesome.
That
That
is
was-
definitely the move.
That had to be probably one of the coolest things that came out of the Super Bowl. Honestly, there was more stuff that came out of that than the actual game because the game was pretty dead. But did you see the backlash that Tom Brady has been getting for throwing the Lombardi trophy?
Oh my gosh. What
That woman needs to chill out.
so
Grow
soft.
up.
It's
Yeah.
Tom Brady. He's not gonna mess it up. If anyone's gonna drop it, I mean it'd be Gronk. But I mean, he obviously didn't drop it. It was not that bad. It was good.
Pretty
Yeah,
good
you guys
pass.
just talked about that on your episode, and I'm like, dude, Clayton, I think you said it, like, world's biggest Karen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly, world's biggest Karen. And have you seen what they do to like the Stanley Cup in the NHL? They're like drinking beer
Oh,
out of
yeah.
it, and they sleep with it, and the different hockey players like literally pass it around and do like crazy shit to it. So this is like the least that the Super Bowl trophy's ever gone through, honestly. And last year, Gronk dented the shit out of it. So it's not.
Also, it would be different if it was an incomplete pass and fell in the water. It was literally fine in Brate's hands.
And
To do a formal TV interview over that is so ridiculous. What a waste of time.
well, and
Oh.
also she just wanted to give her 2 cents because
Yeah.
wasn't
that's
it
exactly
something
what it
like
is.
her dad made like the very first one? I'm like, you're literally 50 games too late, woman. Like, you had nothing to do with this. What a
That's
joke.
wild.
Yeah.
Do you see
It is.
what the GM of the Bucks replied to like the lady who was like bitching about it? She like he posted like a GIF or a GIF, whatever, and it says "Lighten up, Francis" or something like that, like from like this old movie. Oh my god, it's so funny.
That's amazing. I love when GMs get in the mix.
Dude,
Like they're
for
always so
real.
proper, and then they just come from the clouds on Twitter
Oh,
and just
yeah.
RKO somebody.
Well, and you can just, even if you don't get a visual of a GM, you just picture them in like suit and tie, just like in one of those giant executive office chairs, just roasting people.
Yeah, they send out one tweet a year, and it's just like bludgeoning some fan.
Yeah, that's like the one place that they're actually able to say what they want. Unless you're Jerry Jones, then you can say whatever you want, wherever you want. But otherwise, it's like one tweet a year, make it good and make it count.
Well, changing gears, as we're excited for baseball, and we know you guys are too. We know that Safeco Field's a little bit more of a haul for you guys coming from Spokane. But you guys have the Spokane Indians, and neither Duncan nor I can say that we've been to one of those games. So I imagine you guys will make it over to the west side at some point this summer. But until you do, what are you looking forward to being back in a ballpark, given that fans can be in attendance?
Beer.
Overpriced beer.
Yeah.
There's
Not
nothing
at
like
the
a
Indians
12.
games.
There's nothing like
Uh-uh.
$1 an ounce at a ballpark.
They're not. They probably
Indians
are.
games are different. They know why people are coming.
Yeah.
Spokane plays it different. They're like, we know you're not here for the baseball game. So here's your $2 beer. Order 5 of them and let's get it rolling.
Well, and they also do like promotions too. They'll do like dollar hot dog night or like
Yeah.
I think they did like a couple years ago like a dollar beer night. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, those
Oh,
always
heck
go over super well.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah, they do.
I've never been there, like I said, but I picture it not even having a parking lot. It's only Uber and Lyft pickup and drop off.
It honestly should be. It should be
It's-
required.
Yeah, it's just like in a giant gravel pit. Pretty much.
Yeah, it is. It
But
really
the
is.
stadium is hella nice.
Oh,
Like the
it's so
stadium's
nice.
really nice, which
Yeah.
is surprising. But like I've seen that everybody's been to the Boise Hawks games. The stadium is so bad. I mean, it's like a high school bleachers, and then you go to the Spokane Indians games, and it's really nice. So I mean, it's just a change of pace.
Yeah, it's surprising for the part of town it's in too, because it's in the
Oh.
ghettos, buddy. It is rough around there, but going inside the stadium, it's cool. And they always do like promotions and incentives and stuff for people to come and do attendance. And there's always a lot of people there. At least when
Yeah.
I went a few
Yeah.
times, it was pretty packed. At least up until I don't know, like the 5th inning, 6th inning, everybody starts tapering off as usual. But they're fun. They're super cool games.
So are the Indians like, they're not a farm team for anyone, right? They're just like independent Northwest League or something.
No, they're the single A team for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Oh, they're for the Rangers. Nice.
Nah, didn't they change?
I don't think the Indians changed.
Well, last year there was no minor league, and then this year I know stuff got restructured. Like now the Hawks,
Yeah.
the
so
Boise
they're-
Hawks are independent this year.
Yeah, so Spokane Indians are the farm team for the Rockies now.
Oh, that's funny because the Boise Hawks were the Rockies, so
They got-
the
they're not
Indians stole the
dropping-
Rockies.
Stealing an affiliation.
Yeah, that's not a great look, but yeah. But Elvis Andrus and do you guys remember like Neftali Feliz
Hmm.
for
Ian,
the
Ian
Texas Rangers?
Kinsler.
Ian Kinsler, they all played for the Spokane Indians, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Clayton, something that you'll appreciate, Big Vogie, who he eventually got sent down, but he made his way through Boise one summer when the Hawks
Really?
were the affiliate with the Chicago Cubs.
Wow.
Vogie spent a summer in Boise, and then they eventually got changed to the Rockies, and then Vogie got traded. But yeah, that was one thing that I thought was kind of cool watching. I mean, it would have been cool to see him like 4 years ago coming through Boise and spending.
If
a
I
couple
saw
years.
Daniel Fogelback, he's like what, 6'3", 6'4", like 300 pounds. If I saw
Yeah.
that dude walking through humping Hannah's, I'd lose my mind.
He's
that
the
would
Mike
be
Tolbert of
incredible.
baseball.
Yeah.
He's 6'250".
Yeah, big boy.
He's
That's a
Big
boy.
boy.
You just let your guard down and you just go give him a bear hug drunk in Hannah's.
That'd be
Also,
incredible.
the way that he swings, if anybody remembers, his elbows are locked and he just like hits home runs with his elbows locked. It's kind of like a golf swing, but horizontal.
Yeah, he looks like he's chopping wood, but horizontal. So
Yeah.
he's just got the arms locked, and hopefully he makes contact. If he makes contact, it's a moonshot. If not, he's gonna strike out like 90% of his at bats.
He decides how many times he's gonna swing before he even steps up to the plate. It's like every other pitch. So
Yep.
he doesn't even have to factor in the split seconds that it takes to decide if you're gonna swing or not.
He was traded to the Blue Jays last year, and I thought he was gonna crush it for Toronto because I thought the Canadians were gonna love the dude.
Well, he's built like a Canadian. He's like straight out of an episode of Letterkenny. So that would be a good fit
Yep.
for him.
He actually should be like a main character in Trailer Park Boys. That's more of his speed.
Oh, I love that. It's a good one.
Yeah,
That is a good
Vogelbach's a unit. I'll miss him, but by the time he left Seattle, he was batting like a 08-9 or something. And I mean, the Blue Jays are one of those farm teams for us where we sent like Justin Smoke and a couple other guys to just revive their career. So we'll probably see him in like 2 seasons.
Probably the Blue Jays are going to be good this year, though. That with picking up Springer and then Ryu with that came over from the Dodgers a couple of years ago. So I think they're going to be good. But yeah, Vogelback's probably going to be back with the Mariners hitting like 149 here pretty soon. So can't wait.
He's with the Brewers now.
Whoa.
Oh, another place where he's going to fit right in, Milwaukee. Are you
he
kidding
had
me?
4 at bats for Toronto, and then I guess he got traded to Milwaukee.
I bet
That's another place.
I bet his
Perfect.
pre-workout is just like a 30 rack of Busch Light.
And poutine. That's it.
Also,
30 rack of Bush and poutine.
Safeco named a sandwich after him, the Vogie Hoagie, which was probably short-lived because he had that one. He literally had one All-Star season. Like he got voted to the All-Star game, absolutely tore it up, and then came back to, I guess, follow that up with like his 08-09 season. So maybe he just downs like some hoagies before every game.
Can you imagine being the like team chef and Vogelback walks in and you're like, oh God.
You're like,
Oh
no.
God. Yeah. So 3 large pizzas. That's
And how
So
many
we're-
Busch Lights did you say, sir?
it's like, give me that big cup.
Well, speaking of a light beer that I'm sure we all appreciate, the Tacoma Rainiers just signed a huge extension to stay in Tacoma and to stay affiliated with the Mariners. I think it's at least for the next decade. It might be the next 2 decades. Hunter might be able to chime in on that, but that's pretty exciting, especially because Hunter is a stone's throw away from that ballpark now. And that's another nice ballpark in kind of like Spokane, not a great part of town.
Cheney Stadium, baby.
Well, yeah, as a fairly fresh Tacoma resident, I'm pretty excited to hear that. And yeah, I think the stadium's like 5 or 6 miles away, and I ran 5 miles today, and so
Humble brag.
humble brag, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, weird flex.
light
What the
work.
hell?
needless to say, with Uber kind of on the rocks right now with COVID, I could do a stumble if I had to make it home.
To a stumble. That would take me
Dude, this is
about
a
an hour
nice
and a half.
stadium.
I think that there's a story that the 3-way out here guys have about a stumble, maybe on Federal Way or something a few years ago. I'm not
That
even
is
kidding.
not a short story. That was a very long and
Out
painful
of-
story.
Out of every episode of Way Out Here, that one had me crying. I was, especially living in Boise, like the walk that you guys should have done was so easy, but listening to
Oh,
that story
God.
and how far you actually walked,
Oh
That-
my gosh.
It
Oh,
was terrible.
I was so glad I was not coherent to remember that walk because my legs were
Yeah,
super
and you're
tired
also
the next
kicking
day.
every freaking bike over that you saw,
To be fair, there's a lot of bikes in Boise.
Yeah.
There's a
True.
lot
especially
of
on the
targets.
campus.
Yeah. I had a vendetta against everybody's property that night. So
Taylor,
Just kicking
imagine
big old poles and bikes and just like Jesus.
Property crimes were at an all-time high that night.
Imagine if birds and limes were a thing. Taylor would have had like just a
Oh.
stack sitting in the
Oh,
middle of the
no.
quad.
I
Taylor
would
would have probably lit him on fire.
no.
Actually, we probably would have rid them to your house. We
Yeah,
would've got there way
exactly.
quicker.
I would have
True,
jacked them is what I
true.
would have done.
You're hot wiring a lime bike.
Mind your business. How do you hot? Aren't they electric? I don't even think they can hot wire those.
Taylor would have
Oh.
gone over to the jalopy jungle and strapped like a 50cc on the lime bike and
Baby.
sent that down Federal Way.
Oh yes.
Oh my gosh.
All that redneck ingenuity from where I'm from.
Fit right in. Well, one thing, speaking of stories, I would love to hear if you guys have any stories from back in your playing days, whether that be football, baseball, basketball. If you guys were ever on a team together for something, I feel like now would be a great time to reach in the archives for a little throwback Thursday.
I don't think we were never on a team in high school. Like Matt and I played baseball together, but Taylor didn't play baseball in high school. And Matt and I didn't play football, but we did play middle school baseball together. I don't think
Oh,
we
that's
have any,
right. We did.
I don't
Yeah,
think we have any
very-
stories. I mean, middle school baseball at a 1A high school is, or a
We were
1A middle
electric,
school
dude.
It was a little sus. It was. We barely fielded a team that was, coherent. So, yeah, that was. I don't know. I don't have any stories from that though.
Man, I don't know.
I do like Taylor telling the St. Mary's story, football St. Mary's story. We weren't together, but I had a great time watching that game. St. Mary's
Or was
is
it
like
Kellogg?
Kellogg. They're like a B, Idaho B school.
Oh my gosh.
And they came, and even a 1A high school like Freeman would torture them. And so Taylor can tell the story.
Well, I mean, there's really not much to tell. I played football my junior and senior year of high school, and my senior year was the only time I'd ever played Kellogg in any sport in high school. And they're a smaller school than us in the middle of nowhere, Idaho. And we show up to this football field, and the football field's cool. It's all decked out. It's got this upper deck area where the bar's at, so you can look out over the field, huge grandstands. And we stepped out on the field, and our team wasn't really that big, but they were bigger than Kellogg. Kellogg's team looked like middle schoolers just walked out on the field, and we just ended up decimating these kids. And I felt horrible, but it was a grand old time. And all of the parents up on the bar were cheering, everybody was getting lit up. It was a good time. That was one of the funner times in the old sports days.
How did they allow a bar to be in that high school football stadium?
Well, I don't know if it was in it.
It's not in it. It's off to the side.
Yeah.
I think
It's probably just enough off school grounds where they're yeah, it's all right. That's good enough.
It's like in Friday Night Lights, how every episode they're just drinking beer on the 50-yard line.
Well, that's
True.
Texas. That's Texas. That's a whole different breed of football down there. Yeah. No, man, we didn't really play a whole lot of sports in high school. I
Oh
stopped
my
playing-
gosh. Are you guys seeing this breaking news that just happened?
Yeah, I was waiting to jump in on that. We got some Patrick Mahomes type stuff coming up.
What happened?
Fernando Tatis Jr. of the San Diego Padres just agreed to a 14 years, $340 million extension. 340 over 14 years.
Is that the biggest contract ever?
dude, he's
24
22.
mil a year.
He's 22.
Oh my gosh. 14's got to be at least the longest. That's probably the biggest baseball.
That has to be the
contract
longest.
ever.
Yeah.
Longest for sure. You know what? I have a take real quick. I think that's a bad contract for Fernando Tatis Jr.
Well,
Because if you think about it, he could sign a 7-year, $200 million deal probably, and then have another monster contract ready for him. Once he's only 22, so he'll be 29 if he got out of a 7-year deal. He could sign another monster 250, 300 million for 10 years. And in 7 years, who knows what the contracts are going to look like. A 14-year, 340. I hate to say this, but I think the Padres got a little bit of a steal here.
Well, and how many appearances are they going to actually have? I mean, I know they're on the rise right now. We'll probably see him in the World Series here in probably the next 3 seasons. But other than that, their last 14-year history is not that strong. He might have, I mean, up front, you're like, okay, he's going to go dine out with Mahomes right now. But in a couple of years, he might not be thinking that so much.
Yeah, 14, man, that's
That's
yeah.
a
So
long
that
time.
is the longest contract
For any sport.
for baseball.
Dang.
That's
I mean, it's got to be
insane.
any sport as well. Not too many sports sign that long of contracts.
No.
I mean,
Although
football
it's a
isn't
god-
for sure.
It's a
Or I
gaudy deal,
guess-
but he's
yeah.
only making 24 mil a year, which I mean, I think is Trout. He's making 35 a year.
36 because his is a 10-year, 360 million.
Well, even Clayton, like you said, if he had signed a 7-year deal, that gets him to age 30, and then he signs even
Another
if he
big
signed
deal.
a 5 or 6 year
Yeah.
deal after.
Yeah.
that.
I think we just
So-
saw the birth of another Cowboys Troy Aikman type thing where the Padres aren't going to have him for the next 14 years, but they're going to be paying him for the next 33.
So Mookie Betts signed a 12-year, 365 deal with the Dodgers. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I just feel
Fernando
like
should have
the
chased. He should have chased that deal.
I hope there's opt-outs for him. Like after 6 years, he can opt out of his contract if he wants to. I mean, it's a good deal for him. Regardless, if you are offered $360 million, you're
Dude,
probably not going
also,
to pass it up.
is Machado still on the Padres? He's still on the Padres, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, in
they just
2019, they signed him to a 10-year, $300 million contract.
So he's making
Dang.
$6 million a year more than Tatis.
Wow,
And
I
Tatis
wonder-
outperformed him last year at 22 years old.
Oh
Yeah, I wonder if there's a performance clause or anything.
Probably.
The good thing about MLB contracts is they're fully guaranteed. So they're not like NFL contracts where you have to like it's like $120
Even if you're
million.
traded?
It's like 30 guaranteed. Yeah.
Dude,
Well,
so
That's
that means
that's why Cano is still getting paid a ton of money.
so Stanton, dude, he signed a 13-year, $325 million contract with the Marlins in like 2014, 2015.
So then did the Yankees pick? Because then the Yankees pick him up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So then
And they took all of his contract with
yeah,
him.
they take that over. Gee,
Dang, I just don't
So
know.
is he
Like,
still
if-
getting paid by the Marlins then or no? Or the Yankees?
it depends on the deal, but I think the Yankees took his full
Oh, okay.
contract.
I got
Like
you.
For,
when
like-
the Mariners got Cano, then the Mariners got Cano, and then I think the Yankees were still paying him or something.
Well,
like
the
that.
Mariners, they trade away somebody for like a 6th-round minor leaguer, like in 4 years, and so that's why we end up paying people for the next decade. Like for Cano, I don't even know who we got. Matt might know, but we probably signed away like Cano for 3 future minor leaguers from the A's or something, and that's why we're still paying him. Otherwise, nobody else does stupid deals like that.
Well, also Cano plays for the Mets now, and we're still paying like $10 million of his $24 million a year for him to not play for us. That's absurd.
And he is not even playing for anyone else because he keeps getting busted for PEDs. But we're just feeding the
Actually, him
pipeline.
getting busted for PEDs was the best thing that happened to the Mariners.
Yeah,
Because
it
the Mariners
actually
didn't have
was.
to pay for him.
We were looking at the playoffs that season. He only played like 75 games, and then all of a sudden we were knocking on the door. I remember we had Cruz still, and then we had Seager in the 4 spot, and we were just stroking that season.
This is a crazy deal, but I stick to my word. I really think that Tatis Jr. is worth more than this. And he's going to, if he doesn't have any opt outs or anything, by like year 10, he's going to be like, what the heck? I'm getting paid $24 million a year, and contracts at that point are like 40, 45 mil. And he's
Well,
like
yeah, for
the lowest
for
paid.
how electric he was last
Yeah.
season. I'm surprised that. Well, not only that's what he got, but that's what he agreed to.
He's gonna be tired when he's 36 if he spends it all with the Padres.
I don't know. But again, I'm saying this, and I personally haven't been offered $360 million ever. So
You haven't?
like that's just this. Take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah, at the
Can't
end of the
believe he did
day,
this.
You gotta take it.
Yeah. No, it's a great deal for a 22-year-old. That's
He was
Yeah,
born in
also-
1999. What the fuck?
That's the thing. It's like, okay,
That's
between
insane.
Mahomes and Tatis Jr., their collective age is like 45, and they're making almost $1 billion collectively. Like,
my God.
Jeez.
shut
that's not
up.
terrible if you think about it that way. They're okay. Also, put that in perspective. Combined, they're just around Tom Brady's age, and they're making almost $1 billion.
Oh my God.
Good night. That's
That's-
gross.
That is.
What am I doing with my
life?
life?
Yeah, for real. Should have been better.
The owners can pay the money to the players, but we still can't watch Root Sports on streaming devices. So
Dude, on
everyone yell about that.
Dude, Root Sports is the death of me. Root Sports.
Nobody
are
can
the
watch Mariners
people-
games, which probably is the good thing.
They're the ones keeping those Express VPN companies in business.
So I get
Honestly,
so mad.
I think that's how the Mariners get people to go to their games because nobody can watch
They
them
can
on
watch
TV. So they're like, "Oh, the Mariners are probably pretty good this season," and then they go to Safeco and there's like 2 people in their row, and the food and drink is still ridiculously priced, and they're like,
so expensive.
"We showed up for nothing, and we're gonna leave after the 3rd inning so other people can take our seats."
Seriously.
Yeah, it's a full circle. It all starts with
Full
Root
circle.
Sports. It's just trickle down
I-
effect.
Root Sports is actually just in cahoots with the Mariners staffing system or ticketing system. The sales guys are like, keep blocking everyone from watching it on TV.
Yeah, literally, if you're within like a 2,000-mile radius of Seattle, you have no chance of watching a Mariners game.
If you follow my Twitter account, literally once a year on like January 15th, every year, I'll just get like incoherently mad about Root Sports. I'll be like thinking forward to the Mariners games. I'm like looking forward to the games, looking forward to watching them, and I'll just get like so upset. Be like, I cannot watch the Mariners games because this stupid network that won't let me watch them on streaming devices. I have to get like a VPN service so they think I'm in New York so I can watch these games, and now I'm a criminal. So
well, also you're like, okay, I'm gonna go watch the Apple Cup, and then it's like some high school football championship from the Tri-Cities, and you're like, are you kidding me?
Or I'm watching college lacrosse randomly during a Mariners game. You're like, what is going on here?
From Seattle U. It's like, come
exactly.
on.
I'm waiting for the day that Clayton tweets a screenshot that says Clayton Panzeri has been blocked by Root Sports Northwest.
I probably will be. Honestly, I tweeted them a lot, like during the year too. Like I'm surprised they haven't blocked me on social media.
Clayton's like an
a
angry
big
dad.
advocate against them.
Clayton's like the angry dad who just like quote tweets Como News and just like roasts them like that's the only reason they're on Twitter. That's Clayton, but with Root Sports.
Yeah, I'll just be in their comments all day long. I'll just like reply to them. I know nobody's gonna see it. It makes me feel better. I don't care.
You're like at Jen Mueller, let us watch the Mariners game.
Yeah. She's like, I am literally just a sideline reporter. I do not care about Root Sports.
Dude, I don't know why, but do you guys think that Jen Mueller's always just at the butt of the Gatorade baths? Like someone sitting there or standing there in the dugout, like getting a post-game interview, and I feel like she always gets like the second splash of a Gatorade bath.
Yeah.
100%.
Or
I mean, it
Angie,
happens like twice a year when the Mariners win, but yeah.
Angie Mentek is the other one. I'm like, dude, you just soaked the reporter and like nothing did happen.
Yeah,
It's
they
like
probably
about
won it
time.
because they're like, oh, free swag from the Mariners. This is cool.
Very true.
Well,
Well-
Hunter, want to jump into a couple segments before we wrap up today's episode?
Yeah, let's get into some segments, and those are always brought to us by Apex Koozie. You guys love Apex Koozie. We love Apex. Go grab yourself a koozie. We got spring training. It's hot in Arizona. Hopefully we can make it down for some games if they let fans there, and got to keep our drinks cold. So go check out Apex Koozie. Use code WASHED UP for 10% off your order at apexkoozie.com. Well, in terms of sports, and especially now that baseball is back, let's get into one of our segments, highlights and bloopers. So we want to hear a highlight from your guys' week, and then maybe something that was a blooper or just didn't go the way you expected it to go.
Ooh.
I really don't do anything, so it's kind of tough. I guess a blooper would just be my dating life. That's just a
Nice.
mess.
Speaking of
Attaboys.
Valentine's
Brutally
Day,
honest.
Yeah, Taylor forgot it was Valentine's Day this weekend, so that didn't work out too well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Back to Tinder.
Oh,
I'll figure it
low
out
light.
next
It's
year.
been like -1 degrees in Spokane for the past like
Oh, yeah,
3 weeks,
snow.
it feels like.
Oh,
Ugh.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
That's-
heard how cold it's been there, but you guys got like no snow and the rest of the country got pounded.
yeah, at least we're not in Texas right now.
Very true.
Facts.
For a
I
bunch
saw
of
some
people
pictures
that-
in Texas.
Yeah,
It's
a bunch
wild.
of people that don't know what snow is, and then their power's been out for like 72 hours, and they can't get out their door. That's a bad.
And all their
combination.
pipes froze, like in apartments and houses, everywhere's flooded.
So bad.
That's
That's
just like
brutal.
a general
Ill-prepared.
US blooper.
Yeah. Highlight this week, James Paxton got signed by the Mariners, and I'm happy to have the Canadian back with the Mariners because we missed him a lot. Marco Gonzalez is good, but like we need a good ace, and I think James Paxton can actually overtake Marco for the opening day starter. So that was a highlight of my week, James Paxton getting signed.
and Paxton is consistent, which is I think the biggest thing that we've lacked. Well, our pitching staff has
Consistently
lacked-
injured, yes.
Yeah, right. Our pitching staff has lacked consistency or skill for the last 20 years. So we'll see if this leads to anything.
Yeah, we have 4 less lefties now with Marco,
Wild.
Kikuchi, Paxton, and Sheffield. So I'm excited to see lefties go against. We really haven't had that kind of a staff in a long time. But I'm excited for Justin Dunn as well to show out a little bit. He had one of the roughest starts of what do they call it? Debut of his of anybody I've ever seen. I think he gave up 7 runs and he only pitched
in 2 innings.
Yeah, and I don't even think he got through 2 innings. I think it was 7 runs. He only got 2 outs and he got bounced in the first inning. I was like,
brutal.
dude, I feel so bad. If that was your debut, brutal.
It's okay, honey. Nice game. Good job.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah.
Dunk, highlight, blooper.
Let's see. Highlight probably. I mean, we had good snow here in Boise. It's not like in Washington where it snows a little and then it's just cold enough to where the roads are just terrible for a week. Like in Boise, it's sunny enough to where the snow melts on the roads, but it still looks nice in people's yards. So I'd say that was a highlight because we haven't gotten any snow. It was 50 last week. So that was a nice change of winter pace for a little bit. Blooper, I don't know if I have one. I mean,
Well, Dunk, while you think of your blooper, my highlight goes off of yours. In Tacoma, we got about 10 inches of snow, and I was telling Hannah, I was like, wow, I should probably go out and shovel the driveway, at least the paths to our cars and stuff. She's like, I mean, you probably don't have to, we don't need to go anywhere. And I was like, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. And so it dumped for 2 days, and then it just poured rain on Monday and it melted it all away. So I didn't have to shovel once.
that is the most Western Washington thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was 45 degrees and pouring rain. So all the snow was gone by 11 a.m. Blooper actually just happened. That was part of the reason I was late logging onto this call. Pretty crazy, actually. So this part of Tacoma is pretty good. People have pretty nice houses, big yards. So it's not sketchy trailer park houses, which one could very well think for Tacoma. I've actually just been looking around because I'm still kind of sketched out, but I got back from my run and my door was wide open and Hannah doesn't get home from work for a while. And and so
That's what that dude was behind you. Now I get it. I thought that was your dad.
Yeah, we'll play it back.
Well, so I'm saying this because I know that Hannah doesn't listen, and so I'm probably not gonna.
That's a blooper.
But so the door handle was locked, so I know that because we have a deadbolt and we have the doorknob that has a lock, and so that was locked, and the door was just open. I was like, what the heck? So I come inside, I tell Alexa to turn on all the lights. I grab the flashlight by the front door so I can go clear out rooms. And I had to make it to the back bedroom, in the master where my gun is under my bed. So I grab my gun and I start clearing every room in the house, closet, checked under the car in the garage. I had to clear every room. And I was yelling the entire time that I was doing this, hey, come out. And I'm making sure. And so as far as I know, the house is all clear, but quite a blooper to just have the door wide open.
Dude, that is sketch. Also, it's not like you're okay, I've been in Tacoma for 25 years. I know what happens around here. We're good. You're I'm literally 2 weeks in and that house has a lot of nooks and crannies to clear. So that's a pretty big event for your first Tacoma initiation.
Yeah, I'm going through the house like this, flashlight in this hand, posted up like this, literally pushing doors open.
Could you imagine if somebody replied back to you when you were yelling, hey? I don't even know how I would react to that.
Dude,
There would be
Hey, hello?
a pile on the floor. Dude,
Oh,
Mom? Like,
Oh, hey, hola.
Marco.
that's not my girlfriend. That's not my fiance.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
shoot.
Oh man, that's
Well,
crazy.
make sure you run with a key next time and deadbolt everything.
No, I literally run with the key every time. And so that's why I was even more sketched out.
Jeez.
All right. Well,
Crazy.
keep us updated because the Way Out
Yeah.
Here boys want to know what happened. We might have you on Tuesday just to give us a little update.
I was gonna say if
Yeah, hopefully I'm
Hunter's not
able
on
to.
episode 37 of CTL, you'll know why. Shoot.
This is an ongoing investigation.
Hunter just
I mean-
opened a cold case. We're gonna do like 48 hours all of a sudden. Tacoma
You should see
edition.
you should see the
48
arsenal that I have behind me right now, just in case.
What's that on the wall? Shoot.
Love it.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I don't know if
real-time-
anything can top that blooper, but I think we finish it off with one of our favorite segments that we like to do when we have guests on. Hunter might have a different meaning for this one. It's called Hit the Spot. So maybe keep that.
I haven't done that in a
pistol
while.
Drawer, Hunter. But Hit the Spot is a segment that we like to do, especially with our guests. And that's the one thing that you ate in the last week that was just perfect. It hit the spot. You just keep thinking about it. You can't wait to have it again. And we like to let everybody else know what that was. It could be homemade. Maybe it was the place that you went on Valentine's Day. Taylor, maybe not. I'm not sure what your plan was on Sunday, but
Yeah, I really should call her.
next week's episode of Way Out Here, Taylor's dating game.
Oh,
That's like every episode.
hey,
Taylor and Matt.
he's short and sweet. I'll tell you that. Man, hit the spot. Actually, I had Texas Roadhouse,
Mm,
Ooh.
Oh,
and
let's go.
I haven't ate at Texas Roadhouse since like high school, and I'd gotten a gift card for something. I don't know. I think Christmas or whatever. But I got a gift card to go to Texas Roadhouse and went and had me a big old 16-ounce ribeye steak from Texas Roadhouse. I hit the spot real
Ooh,
good. Now I just want to go back and eat steak and
and those
their
rolls.
dude,
I
the
know,
butter,
Kenny,
the
I was gonna
cinnamon
say,
butter.
Kenny,
Oh my god.
Insane.
So
Dude, I would
good.
drink that
Agree.
straight.
The best thing is the rolls.
Mhm. Well, and they bring so many out too. You get full before like you even get the food. They just keep handing it like Olive Garden with their breadsticks. They're just handing out those rolls. It's so good.
Dude, that's a business model if I've ever seen one.
100%.
Yeah, fire.
Mine was I got a De Leon, so I believe it's a local Spokane one, just
Is
in
it
Spokane.
a Mexican restaurant?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I got 3 carne asada tacos that absolutely slap. They're like street
Asada.
carne asada street tacos, super good with the beans and rice. It was it was amazing. I was craving Mexican for like 2 weeks, and I finally got some local Spokane Mexican food.
I think something that hit the spot for me was I had some pad thai the other day. Oh my
Ooh.
god.
Oh,
dude.
we're hitting! Wow, how cultured is
Mm.
way out here? Let's go.
So good.
Oh, I'm very cultured. I do not discriminate against food.
Fair
I'm
enough.
gonna flex on my hit the spot just because I probably won't be able to for at least another year. Valentine's Day went to Ruth's Chris and
Oh, nice.
had the filet and shrimp with the garlic mashed potatoes, and they're just like it's like equal parts mashed potatoes to butter, just so good.
Oh, man.
But disclaimer, we had a gift card, and so otherwise, like I was
Attaboy.
definitely not gonna flex and go to Ruth's Chris for Valentine's Day. So the best part about that was the only difference I had to cover from the gift card and for the difference from the gift card, I had to pull out a $1 bill to add with it.
Oh, heck, that's what's up.
Flex
man.
on them.
Attaboy.
Shout out to Fitz, who isn't listening to this.
Yeah. Hunter's like, I don't want to do 2 humble brags in one episode, so I'll say that there was a gift card.
No, I like handed it to the waiter under the table and said, "Hey, don't let my fiance see this gift card."
Classic. Well, I'll bring it home with Hit the Spot. I went to Twigs, which I think is regional. Like I think there's one in Spokane.
Oh, yeah.
And I got the truffle penne pasta with
Ooh.
steak, and it was like steak bites in it, and that was just like perfect part steak and that like cream sauce that it comes with, and then like those sun-dried tomatoes or something.
Ooh.
It was just a move. Like you always know what you're gonna get there. It's always just like to perfection, and that absolutely did hit the spot.
That
I'm
sounds so
starving
good.
now.
Yeah, no,
Me
this
too.
is
I'm
making me
so
so hungry.
hungry.
Yeah. After
Yeah,
all that
what-
culture of food,
Yeah.
I think it's time for dinner.
Yeah, warning, never do this segment on an empty stomach.
That's like never go to Winco on an empty stomach. You're gonna spend like $300.
Game over. Oh yeah, blooper on that was my Costco trip last Sunday because Hannah or I had eaten before that, and so
Oh no.
we also hadn't been to Costco together for a while. So yeah, game
Oh,
over.
that's dangerous. That is a
So it was
dangerous.
it was a romantic trip around Costco. So you just went and got hot dogs, you got food, ordered $300 at Costco.
Some chicken
Hunter's
bakes.
like 1-800 gambling after he goes to Costco.
Yeah, seriously.
Love it.
Oh,
Costco
man.
Anonymous.
Seriously.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this little collaboration with Way Out Here and Climb the Ladder. We really appreciate you guys coming on. Absolutely a blast talking with you guys, and we're excited for our listeners and hopefully yours to hear a little bit different take on one of our episodes, especially with spring training here right around the corner. We're excited.
You guys want to? One of you guys want to throw out where everybody can go find the Way Out Here podcast?
Yeah, you guys can go to @Way Out Here Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We actually have a private Facebook group that you guys can go to. It's always in the bios of our social handles. Also, our episodes have the link in the description as well. So if you want to join our Facebook groups, you can join those. We have a blast interacting with everybody, and we get Thursday mailbag for questions from those. So we appreciate you guys having us, though. I can't wait to have you guys on next week.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And yeah, to everybody listening, you definitely want to be part of that Facebook page because just like the podcast, you never know what's going to come across your timeline.
Every time I get a notification that says Clayton Panzeri posted in Way Out Here, I'm like, this is going to be good.
It's solid.
Well, appreciate you guys. Looking forward to talking again next week, and for everybody to hear a little bit of insight to who you guys are and just everything in between. So excited for coming on next week. But until then, we appreciate you guys.
Thanks
Thanks,
for having
boys.
us.
All right. Talk to you soon.
See you guys.